Everyone, this is it. We're gonna dive in deep in this whole, it's not windy at my house, why is the power shut off question. I've seen it literally dozens of times in almost every single interview. That's the main point. And it's a disconnect, and it's a disconnect that makes sense. It's not irrational to think, if there's no wind at my house, then why can't I get power from the pole to my house? And it has to go back to these transmission lines. Let me go back to the very beginning. When power companies were found that they could be liable for a problem with one of their lines, and if it causes damage or death or otherwise, and they could be sued for that, then it created this whole liability issue for these big power companies. It started with San Diego Gas and Electric. Southern California Edison could be liable. PG&E, we know, has been liable and is paying damages. And so they're all sort of looking at the same thing, and they're making decisions based on that liability. So for some of these big transmission lines, the weather that those lines are experiencing is drastically different than what you may be getting at your house. I want to show you a prime example here. You can see here that for a lot of these, this is the transmission lines on Google Earth. So let me give you an example. In Placerville, you might be a PG&E customer, and you could see that's the SMUD line, but you might be getting power here from PG&E. Let me show you the line here, PG&E. And the way that this all works is power's coming in usually from these hydro plants, or maybe out of state. For Placerville, it's likely coming from somewhere down south, and it all matters how it all works together. And you know, in some of these cases, let me show you these transmission lines, especially this one that comes through the Feather River Canyon. Some of this stuff is coming from out of state. Let me give you another prime example. What's going to happen in Southern California, there may be super strong winds through places like the Cajon Pass through here, and some of that power is coming from Arizona, from big solar plants out in the desert, from a nuclear power plant all the way out here in Arizona. The Palo Verde one, watch this line, it comes all the way through here, through Palm Springs. It gets really windy through there, and then it could end up in some station over here, some substation, and that's how it all gets distributed. The power at your house is likely coming from somewhere else. Then it's got to go through those transmission lines, it hits substations, and then it gets distributed. So I want to just show you this too as well. Again, let's give you the example of what's going on for some of these spots down here. If you're a PG&E customer, say in Auburn, 14-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that's nothing. You keep going up, nothing, nothing, nothing. Well, then you start to get into some of these spots. 47 miles an hour, 51 miles an hour. Let's keep going here. Let's go to one of the windier spots that we know created a problem. Once we get up here toward Oroville, you could see some really strong wind gusts. And look at this, Feather River Canyon, that's where the Camp Fire broke out. Paradise, 12 miles an hour. There's not a wind issue here, but where the power lines are, there is. And that's one of the big ones where it comes in from out of state. So you just have to know that it doesn't make sense with your own personal reality, but when you see the way the grid works, and this is messy, how it all ties in together, you can see that if the weather's bad anywhere in that whole mess, it could be affecting the power coming to your house.